When you think of Nepal, what comes to mind? For most people, it's probably the Himalayas, right? Mount Everest. But today, there's a completely different kind of summit being conquered. A new economy is taking shape, one built not on rock and ice, but on code, content, and creativity. So let's get into this creative boom.
This question is really at the heart of our analysis today. It forces us to look past the postcards and see a digital frontier, one that's being built right now by a new generation of Nepalese.
So what exactly do we mean by the creative economy? Well, simply put, it's that intersection of ideas, talent, and technology. It's where things like software development, graphic design, and video production become real, valuable products. And this is the new engine we're seeing power growth in Nepal. Now, a revolution like this doesn't just happen out of thin air. It needs a solid foundation to build on. And that brings us to our first section, the digital infrastructure that's making all of this possible, which you'll see is surprisingly strong.
For years, let's be honest, the story about Nepal's internet was pretty straightforward. Slow speeds, spotty connections. But is that actually still true today?
The short answer? Not at all. That whole idea is pretty much a myth now, especially if you're in one of the country's urban hubs. The reality on the ground has changed, and it's changed fast.
And to put a number on that change, look at this, 300 megabits per second. That's a typical download speed you can get in a city like Pokhara, and it comes with stable connections and even battery backups for power cuts. This isn't a luxury anymore. It's the bedrock of this new economy.
But of course, speed is only half the picture. The other half is affordability. And thanks to some pretty intense competition between providers, the cost of mobile data has plummeted. This is huge because it means almost anyone can get online, breaking down one of the biggest barriers for aspiring creators and entrepreneurs.
Okay, so we've established the foundation. Fast, affordable internet is widely available. The next logical question is, what are people actually doing with it? Let's dig into a few case studies that show how this digital access is creating real companies that solve real problems.
First up is Khalti. Back in 2017, they launched to solve a massive national problem. A huge portion of the population didn't have access to banks. What started as a digital wallet has now become a critical piece of the country's financial plumbing.
The scale here is just staggering. Khalti has over 15 million users. Think about that. For a country with a large unbanked population, this platform has essentially put a bank into millions of people's pockets.
And its economic footprint is massive. We're talking about $1 billion in transactions moving through their system every year. So Khalti isn't just a cool app, it's a major financial player that's driving real inclusion.
Now, this innovation isn't just happening in finance. Our next case, Halisi, shows how tech is being used to solve very physical, real-world problems. Their platform connects households that have recyclable waste directly with collectors, creating an efficient marketplace where one didn't exist before.
And the impact is something you can literally measure. We're talking about 4,000 tons of plastic getting recycled every single year through their platform. It's making cities cleaner and, just as importantly, creating more formalized, stable jobs for waste collectors.
So beyond these problem-solving startups, that digital access has also ignited the most visible part of the creative economy, a boom in digital content. A whole new generation of creators has emerged, and they're building massive audiences.
Let's just take YouTube as an example. This isn't a hobby anymore, it's a full-blown industry. The top channels have millions of subscribers, audiences that are bigger than the entire population of some countries. It's a mature, commercially powerful media scene.
And the journey of Sisin Bania really tells the story of this whole industry. He started out making simple, funny videos on a basic phone. A decade later, he founded a major media company. Today, he runs an entire media ecosystem, showing thousands of others what's possible.
And as you'd expect, the market is getting more sophisticated. We're now seeing local streaming services pop up. And they're doing something really smart. Instead of relying on credit cards, which not many people have, they integrate payments directly with mobile phone carriers. It's a brilliant local solution. Okay, this all paints a very optimistic picture. But we know that this kind of explosive, bottom-up growth rarely happens without some friction. To really understand the situation, we have to look at the challenges Nepal faces in turning this boom into something that lasts. The central problem really boils down to a disconnect. You've got all this incredible energy and innovation coming from entrepreneurs on the ground, but the institutional support from the top, things like policy and regulation, hasn't caught up yet. Weak copyright laws and a serious lack of funding are really holding things back. This number really puts that funding problem into perspective. Just $66 million in venture capital over a 10-year span. While it's not nothing, it's just not enough to help the most promising companies break through that glass ceiling and scale up.
The good news is, experts have a pretty clear roadmap for what needs to happen. First, you have to actually measure how much this sector is contributing to the economy. Second, protect intellectual property. Build value in the Made in Nepal brand. And third, shift the focus from just getting people online to giving them the skills to compete globally.
So, to bring it all together, Nepal finds itself at a fascinating crossroads. The foundation is solid, the infrastructure is there, the talent is innovating, and the content is exploding. The country's future is literally being written, right now, in lines of code and startup business plans.
And this leaves us with the final and most important question. All the right ingredients seem to be in place, but can Nepal overcome those structural hurdles to transform this incredible creative energy into a mature, sustainable, knowledge-based economy? That is the story to watch.